Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Corner Show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is crafting, protection, creating impact. We're with us, Zainab Syed, founder of Zainab Syed and Associates. With nearly a decade of experience in guiding innovators, creators, and entrepreneurs through the intricate maze of trademarks and copyright law, Zainab has carved her niche not just in legal corridors, but also in the minds of aspiring professionals. From the courtroom floors to working independently as a fierce advocate for IP awareness, her journey is one of grit, growth, and grounded wisdom. And she is now a consultant also with the PhD Chamber of Commerce. So, welcome, Zainab, to this coffee conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for such a great introduction, Amir. Pleased to be here with you.
Okay, good. So, let me explain you. There will be three rounds: the professional journey, personal, and you will be in the hot seat, the rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's your inspiration: Legal EI 101. So, it will be autographed and sent to you. So let's begin. Friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host of Coffee Conversation and Legal Tech Evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question to you, Zainab. You have been deeply immersed in the world of intellectual property for years. What drew you to this field in the first place, and how has the journey been?
Okay, so starting with this, intellectual property rights was my favorite subject back in college. And I always had it, I would always think that how is it, how will, somebody implement this in real life? So this was something that I really wanted to figure out and try. And actually, what happens is that, many professionals in the field of intellectual property are like drawn to it. Why? Because it like sits at the intersection of creativity, innovation, law. And what initially drew me to it was the idea itself that, ideas themselves can be protected. I was fascinated by the concept that something like, something which is intangible, an intangible thing like maybe a song or, a brand or a logo. This in itself will have commercial value or, have legal rights. So this is like a field where law meets science, art, business, and this multidisciplinary aspect keeps it exciting and intellectually stimulating. And what over the time, what kept me immersed in this thing was the real world impact that it had, like helping creators, inventors, and companies secure their rights and leverage their IPs. So there is something quite satisfying about enabling innovation and ensuring credit is actually given to some place where it's actually due. So this is why I chose IP, and this is how I still continue, and I'm very loyal to the subject.
Wow, beautiful. So, Zainab, working in IP law often requires balancing legal precision with creative understanding. How do you manage that?
Okay, so this is something which is it's frankly speaking, this is it's like a most rewarding challenge in IP. So what we need to do first is we need to step into the shoes of the creator. So by first immersing myself, what I do is that I immerse myself into the client's world. I mean, like I have to understand, like what is the creative or the innovative core that they've built in. And once I do this, maybe if it's a brand identity, a product design, or a song, or whatever it is, I have to appreciate the creative intent before I can actually protect it. So from there, what I do is that only after that I can apply legal framework and assess those things and through statutes and everything. And eventually I have to stay very flexible about how I communicate and strategize this thing, and how do I translate this complex legal concepts into language that is easily understandable to laymen, especially when we talk about startups and entrepreneurs and all that. So this is how I actually balance between the two.
Wow. So, Apna, Zainab, what's a common misconception people have about trademark and copyright law that you wish you would you could debunk?
There isn't just one, and it's very difficult to point out when we talk about, just one common misconception. But over the years, I've come to, a very common misconception that I have is that, I encounter and I encounter this a lot, is that, people believe that if something is on the internet, it's free to use. And people often assume that images or maybe articles or logos found in public domain are free for commercial use. So they don't understand that in reality almost every creative content which is available out there immediately is copyright protected the moment it is created. So they don't have to content creator does not have to register it per se, but using it without permission can lead to legal trouble. Even if people feel that ki nahi, bas, let me just do it for a project, or maybe it's like a small scale project. So what harm can it be? So this is something which is one of the misconceptions in copyright. When it comes to misconceptions in trademark, so the misconception with trademark, which is very common, is that people believe that simply by registering a corporate company or maybe registering a domain name or an MSME, they become the owners of trademark. And it doesn't. Trademark rights are based on actual use in commerce. And even then, they are specific to only the goods and services that you're offering. So just because you own a domain name or a registered company doesn't mean that you have exclusive rights to use that name across all industries. So if I could debunk anything, it would be the idea that these rights are, they are purely bureaucratic. So copyrights and trademarks aren't just legal boxes that you have to check. They're powerful tools. So for protecting brand identity and creative, work. So now I feel that, in my journey, I have been, able to convince 50% of the population that this is the misconception, and there's a long journey that I have to go to, and, I'm still trying. So this is the misconception.
Wow, beautiful, sir. So, what role does brand strategy play in your legal work, and how do you integrate the two?
So when it comes to brand strategy, you have to understand that brand strategy and legal frameworks, they are they need to be taken hand in hand. So what happens is that when you understand legal protections like trademarks and copyrights, they're important tools, yes, but without clear understanding of the brand's identity, you can't go far, right? So we have to understand, how do we approach it? Like how is it? Like it's not just a defense mechanism, but it's a part of broader strategic plan. So that means that we have to work closely with the creator. I mean, like you have to understand the brand story. You need to understand the target audience. You need to understand their goals. So with that insight, I help craft those IP strategies that align with their brand vision. So whether it's selecting what portfolio your client has to be in, or whether selecting distinctive trademarks. So this is something that securing copyrights on a key assets, or maybe advising them on to how to enforce those rights. So integrating brand strategy and legal counsel also involves anticipating product lines. So you have to understand and ensure that the IP portfolio supports those ambitions. So unless and until connected to it, it's not like just registering the brand and telling them, yeah, okay, pay our fees and then it's okay. No, you have to think, you have to think of the bigger picture. So this proactive approach, helps the client build a long-term, brand equity, and minimize the legal risks and all that. So, like I said, brand strategy, and legal protection go hand in hand. And I see my role as bridging those worlds to help clients build a not just a legally protected asset, but something powerful and a sustainable brand.
Wow, beautiful. So, Zainab, you have had teaching, writing, and advocacy experience. How have these added value to your practice as an IP lawyer?
Okay, so it looks like you've done your homework well. Okay, so when I started teaching, I had just passed school, and I was 18, and I was teaching kids for maybe LKG to fifth standard. I was teaching them English language. So I guess teaching at that age instilled in me patience and not losing my cool with the kids. And we all know that with clients, dealing with certain clients is exactly like dealing with 5-year-olds. I mean, like, you have to impart that knowledge and you have to make them understand that what I am saying is beneficial for you. So this is something that helped me in that way. Thereafter, I joined an NGO, which was called We Work With You. That was an NGO where I joined as a content writer, and all the earnings were, being used to help underprivileged children, or maybe, children with disabilities or special needs children. So what this taught me, I suppose, was, it taught me compassion, and it taught me the art of listening to the one in need, and, actually being there for them. So, and lastly, advocacy is something, advocacy puts theory into practice. So it strengthens my ability and to persuasively represent the clients, and, help them negotiating and influence policy in meaningful ways. So I think together these roles created a well-bound, approach that enriches my legal practice, making me not just a practitioner of law, but also a communicator and an educator and advocate for my clients in the IP community.
Wow. So can you tell us about a particularly memorable or challenging case that has left a lasting impression on you?
Okay, so when it comes to cases, obviously we won't be able to go into the depths of the case because of the NDAs that we sign with our clients. But a memorable and a challenging case, excuse me, was when we were approached by a very calm but a very frustrated friend of a client of ours. And that guy was actually a business owner, and he had coined a trademark, like a brand name for himself, and he was actually using it for quite some time. And later on with time, because obviously trademark IPR wasn't like something which was very common back then. So when he came to know about the trademarks and, the benefits that it had in his business, he approached some trademark attorney and he filed his trademark application. Eventually, what happened was that his application was opposed by a very well-known international brand. It's a very well-known brand, and initially when we saw this, it was, like a very classic David and Goliath case, because our client did not have deep pockets, or, he did not have any in-house legal counsel, or anything. All that he had with him was evidence of use and the evidence of bona fide protection that we used. So what made this case a memorable one wasn't just a legal battle, it was a strategy behind it. Like how we built a carefully documented counter statement towards the opposition that was filed against him. And we got onto the negotiating table, because obviously it's a well-known brand. They wouldn't, leave you unless you just have one, this thing in your, 1 rupee in your account, because they would literally drain you. So what we did is that, ultimately we reached a very favorable settlement with the opposite party that included like an acknowledgement of the client's ownership. So this was something very big, because this was something that meant more than money to the client. And this was a case that was like quite memorable, and we still get clients, the calls from this client on every auspicious holiday or something, and, because he remembers and he acknowledges the fact that we were there for him. So this was a memorable one that I still remember.
Wow, beautiful. So, Zainab, how do you see the evolution of IP law in India over the next 5 years, especially with the rise of digital creators and startups?
So with the advent of IP law and everything, because we know that now we live in the world of artificial intelligence, and all these things that have come into existence now, which were not present long ago. So the landscape of intellectual property in India is like, poised for significant transformation over the next 5 years. So certain things that maybe we can anticipate right now is maybe accelerated IP registration processes, because recently and still that are going on, that initiatives like Startup India program, they've already accelerated the and expedited the patent and trademark registrations, and further streamlining these processes is there. So maybe that will happen in the near future. And maybe this is it's expected to support the rapid innovation cycle also that is going on with the startups. So other than that, what we see is that maybe there's an integration of emerging technologies. So that like I said, AI and machine learning and all, the blockchain is said to redefine IP management. So definitely, AI can where human resources were being used, maybe AI can be used for those things. For speeding up the processes. Maybe AI can be used for drafting patent designs and all that. So this is also what we see. Other than that, maybe government supports for startups, like programs like startup intellectual property protection SIPP scheme, and for providing financial assistance to these companies and startups and managing their IP portfolios and IP assets, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. And I think maybe lastly, what I can say is that an evolving legal framework, because new challenges emerge, right? So we have deep fakes and all these things that have been troubling, people. And I think with there's a need for continuous updates to the IP laws also to address such new situations. So maybe in the next 5 years, we are likely to witness a more dynamic and supportive IP environment in India, catering to the needs of digital creators and startups, aligning with the global standards. So this is how we see it in the next 5 years.
Beautiful. So, Zainab, you have been uh, in the law firms and now uh, started your own law firm. What mindset shift did you see?
Mindset in the sense, okay, so I actually have not been to many law firms. I just was working with one law firm, and that was SS Rana and Company. And it's an IPR law firm, and it's based in Delhi. So this law firm, I think the decision of actually working with them was one of the best decisions that I actually took career-wise, because I believe in the saying that without a solid foundation, you will have trouble creating something or anything of value. So this decision actually helped me, lay down the foundation stone to the small but very strong empire that I've created today. So as an independent, consultant, how this has transitioned me would be like, this shift actually allowed much more personalized, flexible, and strategic approach to client work. So because we know that in law firms, you get to work on the client query itself, and you cannot actually, go beyond the horizon, right? So I was now what happens is that I'm able to collaborate more closely with clients and give them tailored solutions to the issues that they have. It is also given me the freedom to work across industries and jurisdictions, which sometimes it's restricted with law firms because obviously you have to stick to whatever the client tells you. So this the transition has actually deepened my appreciation for the human side of law, actually, because it reminded me that legal services aren't about just precedent or protection. They're about enabling growth and solving real life problems and empowering people to take that decision of moving their ideas forward. So this has been my transition from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And lastly, with this question, like I said, that this has been the best career decision. In the law firm that I was working with, I was mentored by the best and nothing. So I would, through this medium, I would definitely want to again thank Mr. Vikrant Rana, who was the partner at the managing associate at managing partner at SS Rana and Company, and he has always appreciated my work and always given me the freedom to choose how to work with clients. So all thanks to him, and I would say that whatever I am today, I am because of the teachings he has imparted in me.
Wow. So, Zainab, how has your role at the PhD Chamber of Commerce allowed you to contribute to policy or public awareness around IP rights?
Okay. So actually, my firm, Zainab Syed and Associates, was approached by Mr. Iqbal Fayaz Jan, who is the Deputy Director of PhD Chamber of Commerce, Jammu and Kashmir. And seeing our profile and seeing the vast clientele we had in Jammu and Kashmir, they wanted to hire us as IP consultants for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And obviously, we agreed because we also wanted a platform where we could, be able to get a lot of work, like be able to achieve what we are actually looking for. So our firm was hired by the PhD Chamber of Commerce, and in the initial years we were only working for clients for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But within a short span of time, and with the great work that we were doing, and we were actually given clients from national level. So we were working nationwide with the clients and doing their work. So my role at the PhD Chamber of Commerce has given me like a valuable platform to engage directly with the policymakers, the industry leaders, and entrepreneurs. Through this position, sorry, we have been we have been involved in improving the and shaping the discussions and IP laws and enforcements in India. Particularly to support startups and emerging businessmen. So what we have also contributed, we have also through the PhD Chamber of Commerce, we have also contributed to public awareness, like public initiatives. Recently, we had a seminar on IP rights in Ladakh, and later on, due to that seminar, which was organized by PhD Chamber of Commerce in association with the MSME, we got so many queries, like innumerable queries, and clients who were so much interested and who had no knowledge about this thing. So this work is very crucial because it's like encouraging proactive IP protection and fostering a culture of innovation. So overall, my involvement with the chamber has amplified my ability to influence both policy as well as public understanding and helping to create a more supportive environment for IP in India. So today, like it's been a year now, and I think for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, we have been able to secure more than 150 trademarks just within a short span of time. Like not through my individual in my individual capacity, but through PhD Chamber of Commerce. So this is something that I really appreciate, and I'm very happy that I'm associated with them. And very likely we are going to have a lot of work to do together, and we are also planning to go for GI applications because the state of Jammu and Kashmir has very few GI applications in their name, and we are definitely looking forward to go ahead with them.
Wow, that's very beautiful. Yes, it's good to see that you taking Jammu and Kashmir on a global map with a GI. Recently, I did अपना ये coffee conversation with Lata R. Nair. She's an expert in GI law. Do watch that episode. We'll get a lot of insights. She
Definitely,
has done
definitely.
for अपना basmati, then अपना many other things, and she is a part of अपना ये IWD, that is a wine association based in France. So a lot of things अपना
Definitely, I'm going
she
not
has
going to miss
30
that.
years of experience as a ये GI
GI,
expert.
that's really nice. I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to watch her episode with you.
Yeah, you can collaborate with her.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, that will be really helpful because her experience and your knowledge, and
About
she is
exactly,
a
exactly.
partner at KNS Partners.
KNS. Okay,
KNS Partners. Yeah. So there's good collaboration between two coffee speakers.
definitely something to look up to actually.
Yes. So that's what coffee conversation does about. Yeah, there are a couple of who have collaborated in small ways, and this will be a very big. Yes, I'll share the details, and please do that. And
Definitely, I'll
yeah,
definitely do that.
because we need GI from Kashmir.
Exactly,
Yeah, but in a systematic manner, definitely.
exactly. Mhm.
Chalo. So my last question. Many young lawyers want to start their own practice. What advice would you give to them, especially the women lawyers who want to start their practice, especially from Jammu
Mhm.
and Kashmir areas or yeah, small towns?
Mhm. See, firstly, when you talk about starting your own individual practice, I want to, based upon the knowledge that I've had and based upon the experiences that I've had. So I'm not just directly went into IP. Like you must be aware that I first started with the High Court, and then I went to the law firm in Delhi, and then finally I started my own practice. And this wasn't like a year or two. This is we are talking about almost 15 years of work and hard work and dedication and persuasion. So what I would like to tell them is that individual practice is, both rewarding as well as challenging. So what do they need to do when we talk about if they want to actually? I'll be very specific because my specialization is in intellectual property. So I'll be very specific with the IP things that they need to keep in mind if they want to start their practice in IP. Because today Zainab Syed and Associates is the only IPR law firm in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So I would really want, other people also, because people in the state of Jammu and Kashmir had to, go to Delhi or had to get in contact with people outside the state. And it was very difficult to communicate also, because obviously sometimes you don't get connected, and sometimes, we have to understand that face-to-face communication plays a wider impact than, telephonic conversations and telephonic promises. So I would really encourage, lawyers to choose this as a profession, choose this as a field. So how do you do that? So they need to build a very strong relationship. So your network is your foundation. So what they need to do is that they need to invest time in cultivating genuine connections with maybe mentors or clients or peers. So this is something that's going to really enable them into building a strong clientele for themselves, like, because reputation and trust will drive referrals and obviously opportunities towards them. But the second thing that they need to do is that they need to find their niche. So like I said, I found my niche, and they need to do that as well. So you cannot force yourself into becoming a criminal lawyer unless and until you're not very fond of this side of law. So similarly, especially in IP law, specialization helps you stand out, right? So your focus areas, where you're passionate about, and they can provide real value to you. And whether they're trademarks or copyrights, you need to know, like, what aspect do I need to choose. You cannot be like, I can't be like, I'll do trademark, I'll do copyright, I'll do patent, unless and until you have had some sort of experience, some sort of years invested in individual, aspects of IPR. So this is one. The other thing is you have to be very flexible and adaptable. Like when I said you need to invest time, I didn't say that you cannot, go into other aspects. You cannot, you cannot, try those aspects and don't take cases from their side as well. But independent practice requires wearing many hats, right? So maybe a legal advisor, an entrepreneur, a businessman. So these things you need to be very, you have to stay open to learning as well. Always, you have to stay open to learning always, and learning new skills and adjusting towards the approaches and market. As market evolves, you need to be understand how is IP law evolving according to the market. Like just now we had that AI question. So similarly, you have to be, all ears to everything happening around you. Other than that, you have to, finances plays a very, a pivotal role when it comes to independent practice. You don't become a millionaire overnight, and you don't even become a millionaire in 1-2 years. It takes, hard work, dedication, and being patient and persistent to actually build something that you can call your own, right? So you have to, like I said, you have to keep a close eye on the cash flow. So you have to be like budget friendly as well. You can't just be like, okay, I won one case and now I can, you need to manage your funds. That's what I mean in short. And financial discipline is something which plays a very crucial role in to sustain the practice as well. So because not every day every client of yours is going to pay you, right? So you need to be very patient as well in this thing, and you need to be focused on your goal. Once the goal, you have a goal in mind, you need to understand how do I reach that goal. So and like I said again, you need to invest in continuous learning. IP is all about learning and always talking about the next step in the in planning how your client is going to benefit by the information and knowledge that you have. So all of the above, being patient, persistent, and building an independent practice takes time, but with passion and focus, it's definitely going to be incredibly fulfilling. And like this question was you know the question was in such a way put forward that we had to talk about female female lawyers. But I think today, I very proudly want to say that during all those years of practice, be it in India or be it in Kashmir or in Delhi, I've never faced criticism based upon my gender. So I would really like to, I would really like to put out this message that gender is never an issue or a blessing for you. It's how capable you are. It's how you put forth the learning that you have imparted through things and through maybe your college or education and everything. So gender, I won't support this also. I'm very what do you say? Very rational about it, and I know that if it's a boy who is very hard working, he's going to reach heights. If it's a girl who's very hard working, she's also going to reach her goal in life. So I think the things that I said are meant for both male as well as female folks. So that's it.
Wow. So let's go to next round and understand Zainab as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Okay, so I belong to a very close-knit family of, where my brothers and sisters are, they're either they're engineers or, or a businessman. And though we belong to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, I was born and brought up in Kuwait. And like, in my formative years, if I talk about my formative years, I was very blessed, and I'm very thankful to the fact that I came from a family that didn't, force me into some profession. So, because back then, when we were all in that phase, because where we had to choose our profession. So back then, all my cousins back home, they were either doctors or they were going for MBBS or maybe they were engineers and all that. So we understand that family pressure plays a very important role when it even if it's not just direct family, even distant relatives also. But my family does not have a doctor. Yeah, I have an architect. So my sister is an architect. So nobody went into engineering per se, but I have an architect. My sister is an architect, and my brothers are in the business field. So my family never, imposed those restrictions upon us. What they taught us since day one was that you have to be very honest. You have to be dedicated to whatever you're doing, even if it's just being in the business or being in some kind of a profession. So this was something that was imparted to us since day one. And when we're talking about family, so we are very religious when it comes to um, um, many things like because obviously all religions teach you to fear God, be don't lie, and all these things which are very common. So these things have been imparted to us since day one. And like my formative years have also been very nice. And other than just being we were always with respect to educational forefront, we were always told that you have to excel, you have to try to excel. It's not necessary that you are at the top, but you should at least be somewhere where people can see you, right? So this was something that was taught to us. And other than that, I think I'm really very happy. Again, like I said, I was born into a family that always encouraged us to excel. And thankfully, I'm also married into a family where they always support me in everything that I do. I'm thankful to them. And I'm happy that the decisions that I took with respect to marriage as well, and with respect to what my family took. So I'm always I'm always associated with people, either family or some known people who are actually very supportive. So this has been the my initial years.
Wow. So, what are your memories of from your college days regarding your law, and how did it help in shaping your career?
See, I joined because, like I said, my education was completed in Kuwait itself. So I was working. Sorry, I was I passed out from an Indian school in Kuwait, and I was the CBSE English topper, 12th standard at that time. So after that, I decided, because what happened was that because obviously there is a time gap between the CBSE results and after your exams you have a certain time frame. wherein people actually want to enjoy. But what I took that time frame is that I wanted to actually, learn other things as well. So I was, uh, I got into the Indian Embassy of Kuwait. I was appointed as an administrative executive at that time, and I was helping, foreign nationals who were trapped in India, Kuwait, because of some visa issues or because of their, the promoters that they had held in their passports and everything. So we were able to send almost 150 Indian nationals back to India without actually having passports in their hand, just ration cards. So when this thing happened, this was like a turning point in my life because I never wanted to leave Kuwait. That was a decision that I had taken, I think, since I had my senses in place. So, but this thing actually played a very important part in my life because I got to know that, when you're in power, when you have some sort of, some kind of, authority over certain things, you can actually help people in such a way. So that was when I decided to pursue law as a career, as my profession, as well as my education. So I moved to India and I moved to Srinagar because that's my hometown. And I joined the University of Kashmir. I wasn't directly studying in the Kashmir University, but I was studying in a college which is Kashmir Law College. It is an affiliated college of the Jammu of Kashmir University, and those years were wonderful. I mean, like qualifying 50 exams and passing out 50 books in law, and having the best sort of teachers with PhDs and mentors that were actually able to work you through the aspect of law. I mean, like what happened back then was that it was like very challenging as well because I mean there was a misconception that when somebody doesn't get qualified for MBBS or engineering, they end up into law, which is something which is so wrong because law in itself is such a vast subject, and I mean it's as difficult as science or technology. So those years shaped me, and I think the education and everything that was imparted during those times actually played a very important role in my profession as well, and it helped me grow. So this is what I can say about that.
Wow. So, what did hobby or skill do you enjoy that most people wouldn't expect from a lawyer?
A hobby, if we say hobby, then I have simple hobbies like that. Everybody have gardening is a hobby that I like a lot, and I think some lawyers do have gardening as their hobby. And skills, when I say skills, it's very funny because I think people take lawyers to be very very aggressive and very angry people. So a skill that I possess is I cook good, and that is only until marriage I came to know that I can cook, because before marriage I never cooked. It was always my mother who was always, like even though she was a working woman, but she was still like, she always wanted to be at the forefront. She wanted to have kitchens. That was her domain. So after that, when I got married, I tried this and I realized, oh, I'm good at it. So skill, maybe I think I cook good. I'm like a good cook, and hobbies, I think gardening and interior decorations and all that. So I'm very good with the interior. I have a very beautiful house and my room. Thankfully, I thank my husband for all the allowing me to decorate the home like I wanted. So these are two things that I take as skill or hobbies.
Wow. Can you share a tradition or festival from your culture that's very close to your heart?
See, when it comes to Muslims, I think the only tradition or festival is Eid, and it's very unfortunate that today, every because of having nuclear families and because of being so engrossed in your day-to-day activities, we don't see each other anymore. I mean, even if you're just two steps away from your uncle or maybe aunt, you just see them on these holidays. So I suppose Eid is something that I hold very close to my heart because it is that time of the year that you actually get to know who your relatives are and what they're doing in life. And it's a blessing. Obviously, it is something which is very special to us, and it obviously teaches us a lot of you know things. and being there for each other. And I just, don't feel that, you need an occasion to be there for somebody and you just need a festival. I mean, I wish that people would practice this more often, visiting your elders, visiting somebody you have, because eventually when you lose somebody is actually figure out that, I should have been there a lot more. And these are such, festivals or traditions that actually bring you all together as a group. So Eid.
Wow. So, what's a book or movie that you always go back for inspiration or comfort?
Uh, though, because somebody being an independent practitioner or somebody who's having a law firm to run, or who's consulting, the Chamber of Commerce, it's very difficult to find time to resort to these things. But definitely, maybe I don't watch series much, but I've loved Shakespeare. I've loved William Shakespeare and his plays, and Macbeth, and so many. Tales of Two Cities. So I have a book compilation. My uncle was, he recently passed away. He was the professor in the Islamic University of Science and Commerce, and he was a very good reader. I mean, like, he had a big library of his own. So he had gifted me that Shakespeare play and the entire compilation. And it was always that, somewhere or the other down the line, I would find some sort of comfort in reading his plays and actually, understanding what life is actually about. So maybe not plays and sorry, movies or series, but I would read Shakespeare, and maybe if I do get time, I will definitely go through the plays again.
Wow. So, what are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
Personally, maybe I will actually be a little more healthy. Healthy as in, because I have this tendency of skipping all my meals. And everybody keeps on telling me that, be it in when I was working with the High Court, or when I was working in the law firm, or even now when I meet clients, they keep on telling me that, are you alive on air? Just oxygen, that's it. Because I have this very bad tendency of skipping everything. I just live on coffee, that's it. And I think today also, the entire day, I've just had this 2-3 mugs of coffee in my hand and I'm living through it. So personal
Wow.
goal is this thing, and I'll definitely, uh, you know, it was professional as well as personal, right? Okay. So personal is this, and I don't think any other things need any kind of changes in my life other than eating habits. So professionally, I would say that I will try and evolve, and I will because right now we just deal with a few, maybe a handful of handful of international clients. So I would really want to try and have clients from all across the world. We right now we have clients from Turkey, Dubai, and Singapore as well, and the US. And I would really want to try and reach clients from across the world, and maybe try and get their trademarks and get their IP registered in India, so that they understand that how important it is to protect this thing. And this idea came to me through a recent matter that had come to us, wherein a client of mine was running a cafe, and it was a theme based cafe from a very well known a series in the US. And those people approached us and they filed an infringement suit against us. And unfortunately, because not all cases are win wins, and sometimes some cases actually, help you understand and help you evolve through the process. So we weren't able to, obviously, because my client was definitely at fault, so we had to shut down the entire cafe. So this is and those people, I mean, like, even though the matter was negotiated, we actually advised them, the people, we advised them to have a trademark registration in India, which would actually help them secure better rights. I mean, like, just those threats and verbal communications would not help them, but on a very legal point of view, we wanted them to have their trademarks registered in India. So this is something that opened my concept of actually trying to get our world, our country, register marks abroad, as well as though them registering trademarks and protecting their IP in India. So
Wow.
this is something I have to work on.
Wow. So my last one is googly one. Describe Zainab in one line.
This is a very difficult question, and maybe I am a very a versatile and a very funny lawyer.
Wow. So let's put you in the hot seat. The rapid fire round. Your favorite color?
Black, anytime.
What's your go-to comfort food?
Pizza,
One word that your friends would use to describe you.
uh, not anything I can remember, but definitely it was something with respect to my physique that I was very thin. Can't recall it, but it'll be
Okay.
something like that only.
Filing trademarks or IP prosecution.
Filing trademarks.
Kashmir winters or Delhi monsoons.
Delhi monsoons anytime. I cannot bear the cold. I've never, stayed in Kashmir with the winters.
Best piece of advice received.
Always be truthful to yourself.
Wow. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah, yeah, the coffee share.
Yeah,
Agree.
exactly.
You're a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl. Night
Wow.
owl, sorry.
So here's a book which will be autographed and sent to you. So it
Thank
was a
you.
lovely conversation with
Same.
Zainab Syed. So all those young legal professionals, watch the episode where Zainab will take you. Okay, having a niche and specialization is very important, and she's into IP awareness through PhD Chamber of Commerce. So get inspired by 500 Coffee speakers. Subscribe, and if you want to be featured like Zainab, visit our website or LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or connect with one of coffee speakers to invite you to have conversation or cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in the show and all the best for your future interviews and collaborations as well. Thank you.